Welcome. Adoptions are such a vital part of a rescue organization's efforts. We've made adoption tracking available for our data management or website service users. However, this feature is not available for our pet adoption portal users. By using the Add an Adoption feature, you can track relevant adoption data in one place. Your animal's name, the date of the adoption, the new owner, submitted forms, the amount of the adoption fee, additional donations, the status of the adoption, such as if the adoption was a success or if the animal was returned, the status of any thank you letter sent to the adopter, and the ability to record multiple adoptions per pet. We in the rescue community know some of our adopted animals are returned to us. The adoptions feature allows you to always have a complete history of each adoption that occurred for each animal. Think of it. No more keeping stacks of paper and notes in a notebook. Tracking an adoption is easy. Here's how. First, log in by going to RescueGroups.org as I have done here. Next, we want to add an adoption. You can do this in 4 major ways. 2 of them you can do right from this homepage. From the homepage, under Quick Links, click Add an Adoption. From the homepage, on the left side of the page, under Add New, select Adoption and click Go. The third way is from an animal page. Let's search for our example animal, HD. Once you load an animal's page, you can see a variety of links at the top of the page. If you click Adoptions, it takes you to a page with the Add an Adoption button. Finally, the last way to add an adoption is done from the Animal Adoption page. To get there, select Animals, and then Adoptions. Note that you could still use the left side of the page under Add New and select Adoption. Like many things in RescueGroups.org, there are several ways to input critical information. However, since we're here, let's simply click the Add an Adoption button. This takes us to the Add an Adoption screen. You will see 2 fields, the Animal ID and the Adopter ID. Let's start with an animal. I click in the first box to search for an animal and I select the name of the newly adopted animal. In this fictional adoption example, I select the dog HD. Now in the Adopter ID field, I search for the adopter's name and select the adopter. In this case, I'm looking for a nice lady named Jane Test. Note that the default setting for these search boxes are available and active. However, if you need a different status, you can choose it from the drop-down menu. Let's move on by clicking Next. We are taken to the heart of adding an adoption for our dog HD. You can see his name and our adopter's name are filled in from the previous screen. Next is the Submitted Form ID. This allows us to link the submitted form from the adopter to the adoption. Jane's form is called Test and was submitted April 26, 2017. We simply select it and move on. Following the submitted form is the date of the adoption. For this example, let's choose today's date, August 15th, 2018. The lead ID is where the adopter most likely learned about the organization and animal. In this case, Jane found us through our organization's website. Then we fill in our adoption fee. In this case, it's $100. Right beneath that is the donation amount. That field is for those times when an adopter makes an additional donation to your organization. Jane gave us an extra $25. Since the adoption was just completed, I'm going to say no, that no thank you letter was sent. I can change that later when we do send one. And the status is success because our pet was successfully adopted to a new home. We can change this, as you see, if the adopter later returns the animal. The default on the next field is yes, to add the contact to the adopters group. In this example, we are not going to use microchip registrations. For more information, please see our other video and user guide. Finally, click Save and your adoption is complete. Please note that when an adoption is added, the following tasks will be completed automatically. The adopter or new owner is added to the adopter contact group. I've pulled up the adopter contact group and you can see, here's Jane. The animal's status is updated to adopted. The animal's new owner is set. The adoption application is set on the record if it was provided. The amount of the donation is also added if it was provided. And a journal entry of the adoption is added for the animal. All of your adoption information is stored digitally and linked to both the person and the animal, making it easy to organize and find later if needed. We can always go back and review and edit the adoption information if we need as well. This finishes our overview of adding animal adoptions. Thank you for using RescueGroups.org, and as always, check out our user guide for more information. And feel free to contact us if you need further support.